Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Buckets and Birdies podcast.
Buckets and Birdies is a weekly glimpse into the worlds of basketball and golf.
We'll also balance national sports trends with ACC insights
and provide a lens of notable happenings of sports in our home state of North Carolina.
Two friends and industry professionals getting together to bring you 23 minutes of fun each week with shared experiences around buckets
and birdies.
He's Carter Bills, sports agent and seasoned consultant in the golf space.
Joining me on the mic is national champion, Tar Heel great, Marcus Ginyard.
Welcome to Buckets and Birdies. Welcome to another episode of the Buckets and Birdies podcast.
It's Tuesday, May 19th, and when you're hearing this one, it'll be Friday, May 22nd, Memorial Day weekend, Marcus.
Yes, indeed. We are back from a long break, but as always, our new episodes will drop on Friday at high noon.
Thanks to everyone for tuning into this one and catching up with us for 23 minutes of Buckets and Birdies.
We appreciate you.
And as positive people who like positive thoughts, we'll start as we do always, Marcus, with our quote of the day. And the quote today is, if people are doubting how far you can go, go so far they can't hear you anymore.
I love that. Right now we got, golf kicking up into high gear. You got the NBA finals. When you think about, our buckets portion of this thing. And so there's a lot of folks out there that are trying to distance themselves and, make their way into championship legacy.
I love that. And I love talking about how far you can go, pushing yourself to the limit, pushing the people around you to the limit. And speaking of far, it has been far too long since we have gotten together, my friend. It's good to be back with you.
Yes, sir. Great to see you, man. And I appreciate you making it up here to Chapel Hill to celebrate my birthday a couple of weeks ago. Great to get a round of golf in together. Obviously, we love doing that just as much as we love shooting hoops, but great to see you. So I appreciate it, man.
So fun, man. Shout out to Chapel Hill Country Club. What a great time.
Awesome. Wish I would have played a little better golf, but I had great company. We had great weather. So you can't be mad about that.
No doubt. No doubt. And with it being a minute, a lot's been happening in the basketball world. We'll get into golf. A lot's been happening in the golf world. But first, Marcus, off the top, what's on your mind today?
Man, I just want to give a huge shout out to my brother, my teammate, Deon Thompson, who has just recently retired from the game of professional basketball. Let me make sure I get this right. 16 years that Deon Thompson played professional basketball. 16 years. He played in 14 different countries, played for 22 different teams, 14 countries, 16 years, and won 8 championships during his time in Europe. So I just want to give a huge shout out. Congratulations, Deon Thompson, for an incredible career, a legendary career. I mean, this guy played all over the world, every corner of the world that you can think about. This guy played basketball there, fully embraced the experience there, him and his wife, and really just set a great example for what it's like to travel the world, experience the world, and just kind of take on new frontiers. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Deon Thompson. Congratulations, my friend.
Man, that's awesome. I saw something, Marcus, around the 16 years and the 14 different teams. I did not know 8 championships. I mean, is he batting 500 on championships in professional career?
That includes some of the cup championships, but at the end of the day, man, it's hardware. I remember vividly when he won the championship in Jerusalem. I know he's got several others out there that we just mentioned, but just an amazing career to be able to get that much hardware, during your time out there in Europe. So just, again, man, huge shout out to Deon Thompson.
No doubt. Shout out to Deon. And man, he started his career at North Carolina with hardware before he ever became a professional as a part of a special team in 2009 that you were a part of. And you know this better than any, Marcus, but a lot of people will remember Speedy Ty Lawson bringing the ball up, or Tyler Hansborough holding the ball down in the paint. Maybe Danny Green or Wayne Ellington making threes from seemingly everywhere. Marcus Ginyard holding down the defensive end in many cases. Deon Thompson was an integral part of that team because you couldn't double off Tyler. If you double Tyler, before I even knew Marcus Ginyard, before I knew Deon Thompson, I knew that if you gave the rock to Deon in the 10 to 15 foot range, that bucket was automatic. He buried those, and he buried a lot of teams because people buried Tyler and he made them pay.
Great little mid-range jumper, and loved that turnaround over his right shoulder out of the post. And obviously just a great defender and a great rebounder as well. But more than anything, just a great person, great teammate, great guy to be around. But he was definitely a very, very important piece to the puzzle that year.
That's awesome. And not only do we celebrate a retirement from Deon, it sounds like, Marcus, we're celebrating a homecoming for Deon as well.
We are indeed, man. Bringing him back home to Chapel Hill, which I think is just a great transition for him as he steps away from professional basketball, but stays within the sport of basketball. And no better place than to come home to Chapel Hill and join the coaching staff as a graduate assistant. He's already been in school for a year now, as he entered Keenan Flagler Business School last fall. And so he'll finish his second year at Keenan Flagler, get a business degree at Carolina while, joining the coaching staff and helping this new generation of young Tar Heels achieve their potential. So really exciting on both fronts, right? You celebrate his retirement and then celebrate bringing him back, where he's going to be a great, addition to this coaching staff. And he'll be just as important, as a coach as he was on the court as a player.
That's awesome, man. Exciting times for Deon, exciting times for Carolina basketball. And that takes us, Marcus, nicely right into Buckets. And let's think about it. The last time we were together, sitting down Sunday morning at Augusta, Mike Malone had just been hired. And we were talking about the new head coach of North Carolina basketball. We talk about Deon Thompson joining the staff. Let's take a look at how the staff is rounded out. We also have Chuck Martin, an early hire from Coach Malone onto the staff. Chuck, of course, Marcus was one of the integral parts of Coach John Calipari's staff for many years, really heralded as a key recruiter. So an awesome skill set to bring, especially in this landscape of college basketball. Coach Malone and Coach Martin go back to 99 and 2000, Marcus. They were on the coaching staff at Manhattan together, so they go back.
Always good to keep those relationships and friendships strong over the years. And I think that's a perfect example right there. I'm sure that they stayed in touch and continue to have a good relationship. And so excited to see how those two continue to work together.
Absolutely. And then staying on from the staff, Marcus, is Coach Sean May.
You got Big May all day, which I think was a great retention, for our men's basketball team. Obviously, he's, brings some continuity. Everybody knows Coach May. I think he's done a great job over the last several years and will continue to be very important as we start to continue to develop our big men.
Absolutely. Recently added was Coach Brian Tibaldi, a very heralded assistant coach with experience with the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Stops in college included Michigan State and DePaul, great college basketball programs, a great relationship with Coach Malone, and brings experience as well.
Absolutely. And, on that same note as, coaches with NBA experience, you retain Pat Sullivan, who also has a lot of extensive experience in the NBA. And then on top of that, you got Brandon Robinson, who comes back to Chapel Hill, another homecoming story, who also has had some experience in the NBA over the last couple of years, whether that be in the G League or in the NBA out in Sacramento. So good to see him coming back as well.
Absolutely. I met B-Rob with you a couple years ago. I think he was a grad assistant after finishing playing on the staff at that time. Went away, to your point, got some experience in the NBA, and great to have him back in Chapel Hill as well, Marcus.
And what I think is the most interesting thing about this is you got Mike Malone, who comes back, who is not technically a Carolina guy, but you got guys like Pat Sullivan, Sean May, Brandon Robinson, and Deon Thompson still on staff, which I think makes a lot of the Tar Heel faithful a lot more comfortable keeping that family together. There's some other folks behind the scenes as well that folks may or may not know of that also stayed, which I think is great. But the most interesting thing to me is you've got a 2005 national champion. Excuse me. You have a 1993 national champion. You have a 2005 national champion. You have a 2009 national champion and a 2017 national champion. And then you got Coach Malone, who's won an NBA championship in 2023. So there should be no doubt in anybody's mind that we're bringing the championship pedigree back to Chapel Hill.
Man, that is an awesome point, Marcus. Thinking about that, North Carolina's last 4 national championships all represented on Coach Malone's staff. That's pretty special. There is championship DNA in that locker room is what you're getting at, and you're spot on. All right, so Marcus, all this NBA talk with the assistant coaches on Coach Malone's experience has me thinking about the NBA. You mentioned a little bit off the top. We are right smack in the middle of NBA playoffs now. It's conference finals, so fun times in NBA basketball going on.
Carter, I don't follow the NBA that much. I'm going to be completely honest with you. At this point today, I have seen one period of NBA playoff basketball. A week ago, I did not even know that James Harden played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now you can call me crazy, but I'm at my boy's house. We're watching Cleveland in Detroit play Game 7. I see James Harden warming up, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? James Harden plays for the Cavs? So I've been out of it. You call me crazy if you want to. I love college basketball. The NBA basketball does not get me excited until this time of year, to be fair, until this time of year. And just been ripping and running all over the place. So I have not had a chance to really pay attention, but I'm excited to pay attention moving forward. We've got 4 teams that, let's say 20 years ago, you probably wouldn't think would be making up the last 4 teams, here in the conference finals. And so I'm excited to see what happens from here on out. I know we got some big time players on all 4 of these teams that are ready to make a splash, ready to make some noise. So I'm excited about catching tonight, if I'm not mistaken, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, where you got the Knicks, again, a team that has been good over the last several years, but not someone you'd think about potentially breaking in, to play in the finals. But they certainly have the talent, and let's see what happens tonight.
No, great point. The Knicks back in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, is good for basketball, Marcus. Madison Square Garden hosting an Eastern Conference championship takes you back to the fields of where ultimately their hopes and dreams were destroyed by Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls many a times. But it is nice to see the Knicks back. I think it's New York basketball special. It's a team you worked out for. I mean, when the Knicks are good, basketball is good. And I'm excited to see the Cleveland Cavaliers. A little bit of a new look, to your point. People aren't used to seeing James Harden maybe with the Cavs, maybe a little more aware than you are by this point that he's with that team. But interested to see the Cavs, right, come in and try to see what they can do with the New York Knicks. The Knicks fired Coach Thibodeau last year after having a solid run. So now it's sort of championship or bust for them. They brought in Coach Mike Brown, another great coach who's done a nice job with this group. You hear Karl Anthony Towns in his post games, and he sounds determined to, what we would say, cut down nets, right? I think hoist the trophy at this point in the NBA. But with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, 2 heralded players when they were in college, right, at Villanova and Kentucky respectively, they are NBA stars. They are leading a team. And I think the Knicks are here to make some noise and march on to the NBA Finals. Excited to see it, as you mentioned, as it starts tonight.
No, I'm right there with you, Carter. I think that they've got all the pieces to make a decent run here, to get to the finals, and then potentially to the next step after that. And I'm just really excited. Although I don't follow it that closely, I will say I am excited for Coach Brown to get an opportunity to coach the Knicks. I know he's kind of had a bit of a rough go around the league, but from what I know, which is not that much, but from the people that I talk to who have been in the NBA a long time, everybody speaks really highly of him. So I'm excited that he's got this opportunity. He's on this stage, and with a group of guys that has the potential to win. But don't forget, you got, Mr. Donovan Mitchell on the other side, who hasn't quite had the opportunities to get to this spot, who wants to take the next step in terms of his legacy. And he's a fantastic player. If he's healthy and he's feeling it, he could be, bringing Cleveland to a place where they haven't been that often as well. So let's not count them out too early either.
Donovan's special. I love watching him play. You make a good point earlier that the NBA with 82 games can sometimes be tougher to watch all season. Donovan's one of those players that seems to go hard every night. Kind of a la Russell Westbrook in his prime. I loved watching Russ because he goes hard every night. I love watching Donovan for the same reasons. And now that we're in the playoffs, Marcus, you got the best players in the world going hard every night. And you were alluding to this as well. It does make this special. If you don't watch the regular season, tune in now. You're going to see some really good basketball. Mobley in the middle for Cleveland. I'm excited to see what he does too. He's got some pride and is not afraid to erase some shots as guys come down the middle. So I think it's going to be a battle, and I'm excited to see it get kicked off.
It's certainly going to be a battle, Carter. And on the other side, it's going to be another battle. We've already seen game 1 on the Western side of things. And, much like having the Knicks in playoff basketball and on this big stage is good for basketball, I think having the Spurs on this stage is good for basketball, NBA basketball for that matter. And so I'm excited to see them back at this point, fighting for a chance to go back to the finals. It's been a while since they've been here. And, you talk about talent, you've got Wemby amongst others, but all eyes are on Wemby after that huge game that he had in game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. I'm excited to see how he continues to mature and show his level of excellence on the court as well.
Absolutely. As exciting as the Eastern Conference Finals are, the Western Conference Finals might be even more spicy, Marcus. You had the MVP race really come down to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Wemby of the San Antonio Spurs. MVP goes to SGA. Wemby looks like he's got something to say about that and something to prove. Did you tune in at all to the MVP race? I know we didn't watch a lot of NBA games building up to now, but what are your thoughts about those guys, arguably the two best players in the NBA individually, going head-to-head on two great teams right now?
I think you just said it right there. They're two great teams as well, which I love. And so you've got great players surrounded by more great players, but they make each other better. They make their teammates better, excuse me. And so I just love watching players like that, where it's not super ball dominant. Obviously they take and make shots when it's necessary in the clutch, but they really do a great job of including their teammates and making their teammates better, and ultimately getting their team to the next level. Their teams were winning teams. And so for me, that's the thing that I love to watch about both of these players. And again, just excited for these guys to go head to head. All right, Carter, as we transition from buckets to birdies, we're going to revisit our favorite game of nets and jackets. However, this time it's going to be a little bit different. Before we had the NCAA tournament, we were also leading into the Masters. So I had you pick an NCAA champion and a Masters champion. Now that we are here with the NBA playoffs in full swing, and then we've got the U.S. Open in our sights, I am going to give you a year, and you're going to tell me the NBA champion and the U.S. Open champion. You ready?
Okay. We'll do our best.
Your year is 2000.
All right, 2000 U.S. Open champion. Is that Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods.
All right, and 2000 NBA champion would be the first for Shaq and Kobe.
There you
Los
go.
Angeles Lakers.
There you go. Congrats, my friend. Didn't know if you were going to be able to pull that one off, man, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I thought for sure you were going to stump me on this one.
Hey, we got next week.
We'll
Don't
take
worry.
it, though.
All right, Carter, so let
Okay.
us know. What's going on in the world of golf right now?
Last we sat down, it was Sunday morning in Augusta, and Rory McIlroy wins his second back-to-back in Augusta. Unbelievable win. Congratulations to Rory. Since then, Marcus, since you and I have sat down, somehow there's been 6 more champions. Let's take a look at those, run down. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you think about these guys, all right?
Ready.
So post-Masters, we go into a signature event, the RBC Heritage at Hilton Head. Matt Fitzpatrick wins, the Englishman. The next week, they go down to New Orleans. It's a team event. Matt Fitzpatrick teams up with his brother Alex Fitzpatrick. Alex did not have PGA Tour status yet. Alex and Matt win the team event. Forget what it means to the pocketbook. He now gets full PGA Tour exempt status, Marcus. Alex Fitzpatrick joins his brother in all of the signature events in the majors and is marching on his way to playing in the playoffs this year for the FedEx Cup. Unbelievable turn of events for Alex Fitzpatrick, who was right there playing side by side his brother Matt. What a special moment for those two.
That's pretty awesome to be able to compete on that stage with one of your family members.
Shout out to Alex there, and what a special run for Matt. That's his 3rd win of the season, Marcus, and 3 in like 4 or 5 weeks. Unbelievable run for him. Propels him up to 3rd in the world. Matt Fitzpatrick on a heater, now a favorite in a lot of the majors. And Alex is not going to surprise anyone. He showed up this past week at the PGA Championship. But before we get there, we went to a new signature event in South Florida, the Cadillac Championship. Cameron Young wins. 3rd win for him now as well in the PGA Tour, sitting firmly in the top 5 in the world. The next week comes to Charlotte in our home state of North Carolina. The Norwegian Christopher Wrighton wins. Unbelievable leaderboard. No one really knew who Christopher was. He rises to the top. He now, Marcus, secures his card, secures his spot in signature events and in major championships, and is one to watch as we march on through the middle and the rest of this PGA Tour season now.
I always typically get down there to Charlotte, so I hate that I missed it, but looking forward to the next one.
And then, Marcus, while the Truist Championship takes place in Charlotte, an opposite field event occurs in Myrtle Beach. The 72 guys that aren't in that field are teeing it up there, trying to battle for their status and jockeying for position on the PGA Tour. When all's said and done, Brandt Snedeker comes out with the win. First time in a number of years, one of the all-time most beloved guys on the PGA Tour. Unlock some new things for him and build some confidence in this next phase in his career. Happy for Brandt.
Always great to see, when you don't win for, as you mentioned, a number of years, but you're still able to get yourself back to the top. I love watching stories like that.
No doubt. The captain for the President's Cup for Team America. So maybe some good vibes there. Team America certainly needs it after the loss in the Ryder Cup. Maybe we can redeem ourselves this calendar year, Marcus, at the President's Cup. We'll see what happens.
At Medina in Chicago. Looking forward to that one.
That's right. We're going to have to be up there for a couple of things, I think, Marcus. So maybe we'll get to cross paths and talk a little buckets and birdies at Medina.
Would love it.
And then that takes us to this week, the second major championship of 4 in the calendar at Aronimink, just outside of Philadelphia. Was up there a little bit. Unbelievably beautiful, unbelievably well done by the PGA of America. Unbelievably windy conditions and complex Donald Ross greens. Coming out on the other side of it, the least unscathed was Aaron Rai. I don't know how much you know about Aaron Rai, Marcus, but he's an unbelievable story. He hoisted the Wanamaker Trophy this past Sunday. Special win for him. Great story in golf.
Yeah, man, huge win for Aaron. I'll be honest, did not know his name before now, but I will definitely be watching moving forward. Congrats.
So as we go back, Marcus, here's a trivia game for you on the birdie side. Of those last 6 champions since we last connected, 3 of them have won the same event. Aaron Rai, Branch Snedeker, Cameron Young. Do you know what event that is?
I mean, I'm just going to take a wild guess, man. Just thinking about one of the first events that you and I went to together was the Wyndham Championship in Greensboro. So that's going to be my guess, the Wyndham Championship.
You nailed it. All 3 have won the Wyndham Championship. So some good vibes there for Marcus Ginyard. Some good vibes there for those players in the heart of the calendar in the spring. And yeah, as you said it, congratulations to Aaron. Not a lot of people knew his story. Some are hearing it now. I think the world is really hearing it now, Marcus, but grew up very humble means. When he was a young kid, I think 8 years old, he was given 2 gloves. So he still wears 2 gloves because that's how he practiced growing up on each hand. At some point as he got better in golf, his parents splurged. Marcus and got him a nice set of Titleist irons. Titleist still leans into this story. He still plays Titleist irons. Because they were so nice, he didn't want to mess them up. He put head covers on them. He still plays with those head covers on these irons today. So for anyone who gives Aaron Rai a hard time on the 2 gloves or on the head covers, I'd say know your story. It's a don't judge a book by its cover moment. Unbelievably humble guy, simple guy. I think he's what's right with golf. He's what's right with sport. He's a great example to the youngsters out there. And man, I couldn't be happier for a nicer guy getting a major championship win. And we talk about unlocking things for people. This unlocks a world of exemptions for him and a world of confidence for him as well. You step on the tee the next time you tee it up, Marcus, and you're a major champion. That hits a little bit different.
I'm sure he's going to be taking that confidence with him as he moves forward. We'll be watching.
And Marcus, that gets us caught up on golf. Mostly, it's just good to be back with you again. I know it's been a couple weeks away, so pleasure to sit down with you, pleasure to catch up with you, and just good to be with you, man.
Likewise, my friend.
All right, guys, that's all for today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Buckets and Birdies podcast.
That's 23 minutes of our thoughts for you. For Marcus Ginyard, I'm Carter Bills.
We'll catch you next time.